mirá, mirá. Alta luz,
Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing a celestial being, wings outstretched, hovering above a landscape ravaged by floods. This might sound like a scene from a blockbuster movie, but for many Americans, this has become a shocking reality. Reports of angelic apparitions coinciding with unprecedented floods are flooding social media and news outlets, sparking debates and fear across the nation. Could these heavenly figures be a sign of divine intervention? Or are they simply an optical illusion? What is causing these catastrophic floods that are devouring entire cities? And most importantly, is this truly an indication that the end is near, as some biblical prophecies suggest? Over the past few months, numerous eyewitnesses from different parts of the United States have reported sightings of angelic beings in the skies. These reports have coincided with a series of devastating floods that have submerged cities, destroyed homes, and taken lives. Videos and photographs of these mysterious apparitions have gone viral, adding fuel to the already burning questions about the nature of these events. In this video, we will delve into these perplexing occurrences, exploring eyewitness accounts, analyzing historical and biblical contexts, and examining scientific explanations. We'll also look at the impact on the affected communities and consider various theories and speculations that have emerged. By the end of this journey, we hope to shed light on whether these events are indeed harbingers of an impending apocalypse, or if there's a more rational explanation lurking beneath the surface. So, buckle up and prepare to embark on a journey that will take you from the depths of flooded cities to the heights of the heavens, as we uncover the mysteries surrounding the angels descending upon American skies. First, let's take a closer look at the phenomenon itself. Eyewitnesses have described these angels in varying degrees of detail. Some recount seeing glowing figures with ethereal wings, while others describe more subtle, shadowy forms. The common thread in these reports is the sheer awe and terror these apparitions inspire. These sightings have not been limited to one geographic area, but have been reported across multiple states, suggesting a widespread and inexplicable event. Adding to the mystery are the floods that have accompanied these sightings. These are not ordinary floods. They are of biblical proportions, with torrential rains turning serene rivers into raging torrents that sweep away everything in their path. Cities that were bustling with life have been reduced to watery wastelands, leaving behind a trail of destruction and heartbreak. For many, the scale of these floods feels eerily reminiscent of the great flood described in the Bible, further fueling apocalyptic fears. As we proceed, we will hear from those who have witnessed these extraordinary events firsthand. Their stories will give us a deeper understanding of what they saw and felt in those moments. We'll also delve into historical records to find out if there have been similar occurrences in the past and what they might signify. Furthermore, we'll bring in experts in theology and meteorology to provide insights into these phenomena from both spiritual and scientific perspectives. Moreover, we will explore the possible psychological impact these events have had on the population. The fear and uncertainty generated by such extraordinary occurrences can lead to widespread panic and a sense of helplessness. Understanding these emotional responses will be crucial in grasping the full scope of the situation. Stay with us as we journey through these incredible events, piece together the evidence, and attempt to answer the burning questions on everyone's minds. Are we witnessing signs of the end times? Or is there a more earthly explanation for these heavenly visions and catastrophic floods? To understand the full scope of these extraordinary events, we must first listen to the voices of those who have witnessed them firsthand. The stories of these eyewitnesses provide a vivid and often chilling account of the apparitions and floods that have taken the nation by storm. One of the most compelling accounts comes from a resident of New Orleans, a city that has seen its fair share of floods. Maria Thompson, a lifelong resident, recalls the day she saw an angelic figure in the sky. "I was standing on my porch, watching the storm clouds gather," she says. "Suddenly, there was this bright light cutting through the darkness. At first, I thought it was lightning. But then I saw it. A figure with wings, glowing against the stormy backdrop. I couldn't believe my eyes. Similar sightings have been reported in various parts of the country. In Kansas City, John Miller describes a comparable experience. It was around sunset, and the sky was this eerie shade of orange, he recounts. I looked up and saw a shape that looked like an angel, with wings spread wide. It only lasted a few seconds, but it felt like an eternity. I've never seen anything like it. We reached out to several eyewitnesses to get more details about their experiences. Sarah Jenkins, a school teacher from Texas, shared her story with us. I was driving home from work when I saw it, she says. The figure was massive, easily the size of a small plane. It hovered for a moment before disappearing into the clouds. I pulled over and just sat there, trying to process what I'd seen. Another eyewitness, Michael Brown from Florida, captured his encounter on video. The footage shows a faint but distinct figure in the sky, accompanied by the sound of thunder. I was skeptical at first, Michael admits. But after seeing it with my own eyes, I have no doubt that there's something extraordinary happening. The videos and photographs taken by witnesses have been analyzed by experts in various fields. While some believe these images are evidence of divine beings, others suggest more earthly explanations. Dr. Emily Carter, a professor of atmospheric science, offers one such perspective. It's possible that what people are seeing is a rare meteorological phenomenon known as a glory, she explains. This optical phenomenon occurs when light interacts with water droplets in the atmosphere, creating a halo effect that can resemble wings. Despite scientific explanations, the emotional impact of these sightings cannot be discounted. For many, the presence of these angelic figures in the midst of such chaos feels deeply significant. It's as if they're watching over us, says Maria, like they're here to protect us in our time of need. The sightings have sparked a wide range of reactions within the communities where they have occurred. In some places, people have gathered for prayer vigils, seeking comfort and answers. Churches have seen a surge in attendance as people look for spiritual guidance. We've had so many new faces in our congregation, says Reverend James Peterson of St. Mark's Church in Kansas City. People are searching for meaning in these events, and we're here to help them find it. In other areas, the response has been more skeptical. Some residents dismiss the sightings as hoaxes or illusions. I've lived here my whole life, and I've never seen anything like this, says Tom Harris, a farmer from rural Iowa. I think people are just seeing what they want to see. To further understand these events, we consulted experts in theology and psychology. Dr. Rachel Collins, a theologian, believes the sightings could be a manifestation of collective anxiety. In times of crisis, people often turn to religion for comfort, she explains. The appearance of angels could be a way for the subconscious mind to cope with fear and uncertainty. Psychologist Dr. David Moore offers a similar perspective. The human brain is wired to find patterns, even where none exist, he says. When faced with unexplained phenomena, it's natural for people to interpret them in ways that fit their beliefs and experiences. Whether divine or mundane, these eyewitness accounts provide a fascinating glimpse into how people are experiencing these unprecedented events. The images of angels and the reality of the floods have become intertwined in the public consciousness, creating a powerful narrative that resonates on both an emotional and spiritual level. As we continue our exploration, we will look into the historical and biblical contexts that might shed light on these phenomena. Are these events a modern-day reflection of ancient prophecies, or are they simply the result of natural forces at work? Stay with us as we delve deeper into the past to find answers to these pressing questions. To fully grasp the significance of the recent sightings and floods, we must delve into history and religious texts. These events aren't entirely unprecedented. Throughout history, there have been numerous accounts of extraordinary phenomena that have been interpreted as divine signs or omens. By examining these past events and their biblical contexts, we can gain a better understanding of what might be happening today. Historically, the appearance of angelic beings has often been linked to pivotal moments and disasters. For instance, during the Black Death in the 14th century, there were numerous reports of angelic figures appearing in the skies over Europe. These apparitions were interpreted by many as messengers of doom, foretelling the widespread devastation that the plague would bring. Similarly, during World War I, there were several accounts of soldiers witnessing angelic figures on the battlefield. The most famous of these is the legend of the Angel of Mons, where British soldiers reported seeing a host of angels protecting them from German forces. This event was widely circulated and believed to be a sign of divine intervention in the midst of chaos. Another notable example comes from the 1930s Dust Bowl in the United States. Amidst the environmental disaster and economic hardship, there were reports of strange lights and figures in the sky. These were seen by many as signs from a higher power, offering both warning and hope in a time of great suffering. Turning to the Bible, there are numerous prophecies that speak of angelic beings and catastrophic events. The book of Revelation, in particular, is rich with imagery of angels and apocalyptic scenarios. In Revelation 8:6-13, the sounding of the 7 trumpets brings about a series of disasters, including devastating floods and celestial phenomena. Understanding the historical context of divine apparitions provides valuable insights into the modern reports of Jesus and an army of angels appearing across the United States. By examining the patterns, impacts, and interpretations of these phenomena throughout history, we can better appreciate their significance in today's world. As we continue to explore these extraordinary accounts, we will delve into compelling eyewitness stories, analyze scientific and religious perspectives, and reflect on the cultural impact of these divine encounters. Stay with us as we uncover the profound mysteries and potential messages behind these heavenly apparitions. Now, let's delve into the heart of these remarkable stories by exploring the first-hand accounts of those who claim to have witnessed the appearances of Jesus and an army of angels in the United States. These stories are not just fascinating but also deeply moving, providing a glimpse into experiences that defy ordinary understanding. Our first story takes us to a small town in Texas. It was an ordinary summer evening when a group of local residents witnessed something extraordinary. As they gathered for their weekly prayer meeting, a bright light suddenly filled the room. According to the witnesses, the light was so intense that it illuminated the entire space with a divine radiance. In the center of this light, they saw a figure resembling Jesus, surrounded by a host of angels. One of the witnesses, Sarah, recalls the event vividly. The moment the light appeared, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace and love. It was as if time stood still, and all my worries vanished. The figure of Jesus was so clear and the angels around him were glowing. It felt like heaven had come down to earth. The impact of this event on the community was profound. Many who were present reported a renewed sense of faith and purpose in their lives. They began to gather more frequently for prayer and community service, inspired by the divine encounter. Next, we moved to the vast deserts of Arizona, where a lone traveler named Michael had an unexpected encounter. Michael, a seasoned hiker, was exploring a remote trail when he noticed an unusual glow in the distance. Curiosity piqued, he decided to investigate. As he approached, he saw what he describes as an army of angels standing in formation, with Jesus at the center, his arms outstretched as if blessing the land. Michael's account is detailed and passionate. "I've always considered myself a rational person, not prone to seeing things that aren't there. But this was real. The angels were majestic, and the figure of Jesus was so serene and powerful. I felt a profound connection to something greater than myself, something divine." This experience transformed Michael. He abandoned his materialistic pursuits and dedicated his life to spiritual exploration and helping others find their path. He now shares his story widely, hoping to inspire others to seek the divine in their own lives. In the bustling streets of New York City, amidst the noise and chaos, a group of office workers experienced a moment of divine intervention. It was during their lunch break, and they were gathered in a small park. Suddenly, a brilliant light enveloped them, and in the light, they saw the unmistakable figure of Jesus, surrounded by angels singing harmoniously. Jessica, one of the office workers, recounts the experience. It was like nothing I've ever seen before. The light was warm and comforting, and the music from the angels was heavenly. Seeing Jesus there, in the middle of New York City, made me realize that the divine is present everywhere, even in the most unlikely places. This encounter had a ripple effect on the group. They formed a spiritual support network, meeting regularly to discuss their experiences and support each other in their spiritual journeys. The event also inspired them to engage in various charitable activities, spreading love and kindness in their community. Our next account comes from a small church in Alabama. During a regular Sunday service, the congregation experienced what they describe as a divine visitation. As they sang hymns, a radiant light descended upon the church. In the light, they saw Jesus and an army of angels, their presence filling the room with an overwhelming sense of peace and joy. Pastor John, who was leading the service, shares his experience. "I've always had faith, but seeing Jesus and the angels in our church was beyond anything I could have imagined. It was a powerful affirmation of our faith, and a reminder that we are never alone." The congregation's response was one of unity and increased devotion. Many reported feeling a deepened connection to their faith and a renewed commitment to their spiritual practices. The church became a beacon of hope and inspiration for the wider community. Dr. Carter explains, "A glory is created when sunlight is refracted and reflected within water droplets, forming a halo-like ring of light. Under certain conditions, this can appear as a winged figure or an angelic shape to observers on the ground. Another possibility is the occurrence of lenticular clouds, which are lens-shaped clouds that form at high altitudes. These clouds can take on unusual shapes, and when illuminated by the sun, they can create stunning visual effects. Lenticular clouds are often mistaken for UFOs or other supernatural phenomena because of their distinctive shapes," says Dr. Carter. "In the right conditions, they could certainly be perceived as angelic figures." While these scientific explanations provide plausible reasons for the sightings, not everyone is convinced. Some argue that the timing and nature of these events are too coincidental to be dismissed as mere natural phenomena. Psychologist Dr. David Moore offers insight into why people might be more inclined to believe in supernatural explanations. During times of crisis, such as natural disasters, people often seek comfort and meaning in the unexplained, he says. Seeing an angelic figure in the sky can provide a sense of hope and reassurance amidst chaos. Dr. Moore also points out the role of cognitive biases in shaping our perceptions. The human brain is wired to recognize patterns and make sense of ambiguous stimuli, he explains. When faced with an unusual sight, our brains may interpret it in a way that aligns with our beliefs and experiences. This is known as pareidolia, where we see familiar shapes in random or vague stimuli. The scientific explanations for these phenomena have elicited mixed reactions from the communities affected by the floods and sightings. Some people welcome the rational perspective, finding solace in understanding the natural causes behind these events. "Knowing that there's a scientific explanation helps me feel less afraid," says Sarah Jenkins, an eyewitness from Texas. "It doesn't diminish the awe I felt, but it gives me a different perspective." Others, however, remain skeptical of the scientific viewpoints. "I've seen plenty of rainbows and clouds in my life, but I've never seen anything like this," says John Miller from Kansas City. "It felt too real to be just an optical illusion. I believe there's something more to it." While science offers compelling explanations for both the floods and the sightings, the emotional and psychological impact of these events cannot be overlooked. The intersection of natural phenomena and human perception creates a rich tapestry of experiences and interpretations. Whether viewed through a lens of science or spirituality, these events have undeniably left a lasting impression on those who witnessed them. As we move forward in our exploration, we will next examine the impact of these floods on the affected communities. How have people coped with the loss and destruction, and what efforts are being made to rebuild? Join us as we delve into the human stories behind the headlines, uncovering tales of resilience, hope, and survival in the face of adversity. The catastrophic floods and the extraordinary sightings of angelic figures have had a profound impact on the communities affected. Beyond the immediate physical destruction, these events have left deep emotional and psychological scars. This section explores how people are coping with the aftermath, the stories of survival and loss, and the community efforts to rebuild and find hope amidst devastation. The floods have ravaged cities, turning once bustling urban centers into submerged wastelands. Homes, businesses, and critical infrastructure have been destroyed, displacing thousands of people. In cities like New Orleans, Kansas City, and Houston, the scenes of destruction are reminiscent of war zones, with debris strewn across the streets and waterlogged buildings standing as silent witnesses to the disaster. For many residents, the loss is not just material, but deeply personal. "We lost everything in the flood," says Maria Thompson, whose home in New Orleans was completely submerged. "All our memories, photos, and cherished possessions are gone. It's heartbreaking to see everything we worked for washed away." In addition to the physical damage, the floods have also taken a toll on mental health. The trauma of witnessing such devastation, coupled with the uncertainty of the future, has left many struggling with anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. The psychological impact of these events can be as severe as the physical destruction, explains Dr. Lisa Roberts, a clinical psychologist. People are dealing with grief, loss, and a profound sense of vulnerability. It's crucial to address these emotional needs as part of the recovery process. Amidst the tragedy, there are also remarkable stories of survival and resilience. In Houston, a group of neighbors banded together to rescue a family trapped in their home by rising floodwaters. "We formed a human chain to get them to safety," recalls John Miller, one of the rescuers. "It was a dangerous situation, but we couldn't just stand by and do nothing." In Kansas City, Sarah Jenkins shares a similar story. When the floods hit her neighborhood, she and her husband worked tirelessly to help their neighbors evacuate. "We couldn't save everything, but we managed to get everyone out safely," she says. It's in these moments of crisis that you see the true strength of a community. However, not all stories have happy endings. Many families have lost loved ones to the floods, and the pain of these losses is immeasurable. Michael Brown from Florida recounts the day he lost his brother to the floodwaters. He was trying to help an elderly neighbor when the current swept him away, he says, his voice breaking. "We searched for him for days, but it was too late. Losing him has left a void that can never be filled." In the wake of the floods, communities have come together to support one another and begin the arduous task of rebuilding. Local organizations, churches, and volunteers have mobilized to provide relief and assistance to those affected. "The outpouring of support has been overwhelming," says Reverend James Peterson of St. Mark's Church in Kansas City. "People are donating food, clothes, and money, and volunteers are working around the clock to help with the recovery efforts. Government agencies and nonprofits are also playing a critical role in the response. FEMA has deployed teams to the hardest-hit areas, providing emergency assistance and coordinating with local authorities. Meanwhile, organizations like the Red Cross and Salvation Army are offering shelter, food, and medical care to those in need. Despite these efforts, the road to recovery is long and challenging. Many residents face the daunting task of rebuilding their homes and lives from scratch. "It's going to take months, if not years, to fully recover," says Tom Harris, a farmer from Iowa whose land was devastated by the floods. "But we're resilient, and we'll get through this together." Amidst the destruction and despair, there are glimmers of hope and resilience. Communities are finding strength in unity, and the acts of kindness and solidarity are a testament to the human spirit's resilience. It's in these difficult times that you see the best of humanity, says Dr. Roberts. People coming together to support each other, offering help and compassion. These are the things that give us hope for the future. For many, faith has also been a source of comfort and strength. Prayer vigils and community gatherings have provided a space for people to come together, share their grief, and find solace in their beliefs. "Our faith community has been a rock for us during this time," says Sarah Jenkins. It's brought us closer together and given us the strength to keep going. The impact of the floods and sightings on the affected communities is profound and multifaceted. From the physical destruction to the emotional and psychological toll, these events have challenged people's resilience and resolve. Yet, amidst the adversity, there are stories of courage, compassion, and hope that shine through. As we continue our exploration, we will delve into the various theories and speculations that have emerged in response to these extraordinary events. What do the experts say, and what alternative explanations have been proposed? Stay with us as we unravel the mysteries and debates surrounding these phenomena. As we continue to explore the extraordinary events that have captured the world's attention, it's crucial to consider potential natural explanations and their implications for our environment. In this section, we will delve into the scientific forecasts for the future, analyze the environmental challenges we face, and discuss potential solutions to mitigate these issues. The recent floods and sightings of angelic figures have prompted a closer examination of natural phenomena that could explain these occurrences. While atmospheric conditions such as glory and lenticular clouds provide some answers, there are broader environmental factors at play. One key factor is the increasing frequency and severity of extreme weather events due to climate change. Dr. Laura Mitchell, a climatologist, explains, "Climate change is not just about global warming. It encompasses a range of changes in weather patterns. We're seeing more intense storms, prolonged droughts, and unpredictable weather, all of which contribute to events like the recent floods. Additionally, the melting of polar ice caps and the subsequent rise in sea levels are exacerbating flood risks in coastal and low-lying areas. The increased volume of water in the oceans leads to higher tides and more severe storm surges," says Dr. Mitchell. This, combined with heavier rainfall, creates the perfect conditions for catastrophic flooding. Looking ahead, environmental forecasts paint a sobering picture of the challenges we may face. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, has warned that if greenhouse gas emissions continue at their current rate, we can expect a significant rise in global temperatures by the end of the century. This will likely lead to more frequent and severe natural disasters, including floods, hurricanes, and wildfires. Dr. Emily Carter, an environmental scientist, emphasizes the importance of these forecasts. Understanding the potential future impacts of climate change is crucial for developing effective mitigation and adaptation strategies, she says. By anticipating these changes, we can better prepare for the challenges ahead and protect vulnerable communities. The significance of these forecasts extends beyond immediate weather events. Long-term changes in climate patterns can have profound effects on ecosystems, agriculture, water resources, and human health. Climate change is a multifaceted issue that affects every aspect of our lives, notes Dr. Carter. It's not just about the weather, it's about the sustainability of our planet and our ability to thrive in the future. Given the current trends and forecasts, several key environmental challenges stand out. One of the most pressing is the issue of water management. As rainfall patterns become more erratic and extreme, managing water resources will be increasingly difficult. Droughts and floods can occur in the same region within a short time span, straining infrastructure and resources. Another major challenge is food security. Climate change can disrupt agricultural production by altering growing seasons, increasing the prevalence of pests and diseases, and reducing crop yields. Ensuring a stable food supply in the face of climate change is a critical concern, says Dr. Mitchell. We need to invest in resilient agricultural practices and technologies to safeguard our food systems. Additionally, the loss of biodiversity poses a significant threat. As habitats are altered or destroyed by climate change, many species face the risk of extinction. This loss of biodiversity can have cascading effects on ecosystems and the services they provide, such as pollination, water purification, and disease regulation. Addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach that combines mitigation, and adaptation strategies. Mitigation efforts focus on reducing greenhouse gas emissions to slow the pace of climate change. This includes transitioning to renewable energy sources, improving energy efficiency, and implementing policies that encourage sustainable practices. Adaptation strategies, on the other hand, aim to increase resilience to the impacts of climate change. This can involve enhancing infrastructure to withstand extreme weather, developing early warning systems for natural disasters, and promoting sustainable land and water management practices. Dr. Carter highlights the importance of community involvement in these efforts. Local communities play a crucial role in both mitigation and adaptation, she says. Grassroots initiatives, such as community gardens, rainwater harvesting, and local conservation projects, can make a significant difference in building resilience and promoting sustainability. Governments and international organizations also have a vital role to play. Policies that support renewable energy, protect natural habitats, and provide funding for climate research and adaptation projects are essential. Collaboration between countries is crucial to address the global nature of climate change effectively. As we face the growing threat of climate change, understanding the natural explanations and environmental forecasts is more important than ever. By acknowledging the challenges and working together to implement solutions, we can create a more resilient and sustainable future. The recent floods and sightings of angelic figures serve as a stark reminder of our planet's fragility and the urgent need for action. Whether these events are viewed through the lens of science or spirituality, they underscore the importance of addressing climate change and protecting our environment. As we conclude our exploration, we encourage you to stay informed and get involved in efforts to combat climate change. Every action, no matter how small, can contribute to a better future for all. Yet, amidst the chaos and despair, the Bible offers a glimmer of hope. John 16:33 reminds us that though we will face trials and tribulations in this world, Christ has already overcome the world, offering us peace and hope, even in the face of adversity. This hope extends beyond our individual lives to the promise of a new heaven and a new earth, where God will wipe away every tear, and there will be no more death, mourning, crying, or pain. Revelation 21:4. However, this glorious future is not guaranteed for all. 2 Peter 3:9 emphasizes God's patience and desire for everyone to come to repentance, urging us to turn to Him before it's too late. The natural disasters that have plagued our world serve as a wake-up call, a reminder of our mortality and the urgency of seeking God's forgiveness and salvation. Let us not respond to these events with fear and despair, but with a renewed sense of purpose and urgency. Let us pray for those who are suffering, offer aid and comfort to those in need, and boldly proclaim the message of hope found in Jesus Christ. For in the midst of these apocalyptic warnings, the Bible offers a beacon of hope, a promise of redemption and restoration for all who turn to God. Above all else, it's crucial that we spread the message of the gospel, directing people towards the hope and salvation offered by Jesus Christ alone. Ultimately, true peace and security are only found through Him, even amidst the most devastating of crises. Let's hold on to Him tightly, placing our trust in His goodness and grace, eagerly anticipating the day He brings about renewal. The extraordinary events of recent months have sparked a wide array of theories and speculations, from biblical prophecies to scientific phenomena and even conspiracy theories. The explanations for the sightings of angelic figures and the devastating floods are as varied as they are intriguing. In this section, we will explore the most prominent theories, dissecting the evidence and examining the credibility of each. Among the more sensational explanations are conspiracy theories that have gained traction on social media and alternative news outlets. Some theorists suggest that the sightings of angels are part of a covert government project involving advanced holographic technology designed to manipulate public perception. This theory, often referred to as Project Bluebeam, posits that the government is using these technologies to create fear and control the populace. John Miller, a conspiracy theorist from Kansas City, is a proponent of this idea. "I've seen the footage, and I believe the government is behind it," he asserts. They're using these holograms to create panic and push their agenda. It's all part of a larger plan to keep us in check. While these theories captivate the imagination, they often lack concrete evidence and are dismissed by mainstream experts. Dr. Emily Carter, an atmospheric scientist, emphasizes the need for critical thinking. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing in elaborate conspiracies when faced with unexplained phenomena, she says. But we must rely on empirical evidence and scientific reasoning to understand these events. The public's reaction to these theories has been mixed. While some are intrigued and even convinced by the conspiratorial explanations, others remain skeptical. The role of media coverage cannot be overlooked, as sensational headlines and dramatic footage often fuel the fire of speculation. Social media platforms have become hotbeds for the spread of these theories. Videos and posts claiming to reveal the truth about the angelic sightings and floods go viral, amassing millions of views and shares. The internet has given everyone a voice, says Sarah Jenkins, an observer from Texas. Unfortunately, it also means that misinformation can spread just as quickly as facts. In contrast to the conspiracy theories, mainstream scientific explanations focus on natural phenomena and psychological factors. As discussed in previous sections, meteorological conditions such as glory and lenticular clouds provide plausible explanations for the sightings of angelic figures. Similarly, the floods can be attributed to climate change, poor land management, and urbanization. Psychologists also offer insights into why people might interpret these natural phenomena as supernatural. Dr. David Moore explains, "In times of crisis, our brains are wired to seek meaning and comfort. Seeing a familiar and comforting image like an angel can provide a sense of hope and reassurance." Beyond scientific and conspiratorial theories, theological interpretations offer another perspective. Many believe that the events are signs of divine intervention or warnings of the impending apocalypse. Reverend James Peterson of St. Mark's Church in Kansas City suggests that the angelic sightings and floods could be a test of faith. These events challenge us to reflect on our beliefs and our relationship with the divine, he says. They remind us of the fragile nature of our existence and the importance of faith and community. Biblical scholars point to prophecies in the book of Revelation and other religious texts that describe similar phenomena. Dr. Samuel Harris, a theologian, elaborates, "The imagery of angels and floods is deeply embedded in our religious traditions. Whether these events are literal manifestations of prophecy or symbolic representations, they resonate powerfully with our collective consciousness." The debates among experts highlight the complexity of interpreting these events. While there is no consensus on a single explanation, the discussions underscore the need for ongoing investigation and open-mindedness. We must continue to explore all possibilities, keeping both scientific inquiry and spiritual reflection in mind, says Dr. Carter. Looking ahead, the implications of these events are profound. If the floods and sightings are indeed harbingers of larger changes, whether environmental, social, or spiritual, we must prepare for the challenges ahead. These events serve as a wake-up call, says Dr. Harris. They urge us to address the underlying issues, from climate change to spiritual disconnection, that may be contributing to these extraordinary occurrences. In the end, the truth behind the angelic sightings and biblical floods may lie at the intersection of science, spirituality, and human perception. While we may never fully understand the nature of these events, they have undoubtedly left a lasting impact on our collective psyche. As we conclude our journey, we encourage you to reflect on your own beliefs and interpretations. What do these events mean to you? Are they signs of divine intervention, natural phenomena, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more explorations of the extraordinary and unexplained. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found this video intriguing, please like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more content that delves into the mysteries of our world, from the supernatural to the scientific. Until next time, Stay curious and stay informed.